Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first Bronco Coaches Show of 2025. We're here at Old Burdicks at Wings West. We'll be here the spring and winter as the downtown Old Burdicks gets a little renovation. Rob Lau here filling in for Robin Hook. He's on the road with a hockey team. They're getting ready for a big series at North Dakota this weekend. And speaking of that series, if you're looking for a place to watch it, come right here to Old Burdicks at Wings West. They have NCHC.TV, so come on out Friday and Saturday night, have dinner, and watch the Broncos take on the Fighting Hawks and battle for first place in the NCHC. We'll talk a little bit more about the hockey season later on, but first let's talk some women's basketball. I'm joined by head coach Shane Cliffell, and coach, last night tying the all-time wins record for the head coach in women's basketball history. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I found that out this morning when I woke up, and it was, in high Toledo at that situation was obviously bigger than anything else going on, but we haven't fared very well against that team over the past decade or so, and our players were very focused on, we knew coming into this 2-week stretch that we were playing teams that have been a nemesis for us over the years, and this was the phase one of that 2-week stretch, so we're excited about how that turned out.
Speaking of waking up this morning, you wake up in second place in the standings, 4-1, a great start to your conference play, and first 4-1 start, I believe, since 21-22.
Yeah, that's we never look ahead, or at least I don't, and try and say, okay, at this stage we should probably be this record or that record, and I think this group is really good at taking one game at a time and focusing in on. I love when we get to the MAC season that it's a routine, right? We have Monday, Tuesday to prepare, and Wednesday we play, and then we have Thursday, Friday to prepare, and Saturday we play. So we're in that routine already. They know what to expect on each of those preparation days, and they've given us really good focused intent and for each opponent that we've had.
Speaking of last night, you mentioned it's been a struggle against Toledo. They've been at or near the top of the league the last several years. First win over them since 2020. It was a real defensive slugfest last night, 41-38 final. You forced 22 turnovers, only 7 free throw attempts for Toledo. You guys were clicking on all cylinders defensively last night.
Yeah, that was a game. When I went back and watched it on film last night, I'm like, is this basketball or rugby? Because it was, and I don't even know how rugby is scored, but it was more like a football game, and we had 5 touchdowns and 2 field goals for 41 points. So I made a joke to the official walking out after the game, well after the game, and I said, hey, where are you going? We still have a second half to play. So it was one of those kind of games that there wasn't a lot of points scored, and each possession was valuable, and to our team's credit, we knew turnovers were going to be a big factor in that game, and while we had too many, when you have too many, you'd better be forcing the other team into too many more, and we were able to do that last night, and that was a big factor.
Speaking of big factors last night, Hannah Spitzley, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 7 steals, and the 14 points wouldn't always lead the team in scoring. It did last night, but the 7 steals are really key as well.
Yeah, 14 points is almost half our points, right, when you think of it that way. But, yeah, Hannah has just a uncanny ability. I joke with her all the time, like she's not the most athletic player we have. She's not the fastest player, but the kid knows where to be on defense in particular, and she can, I don't know if that's a career high in games for her for steals. It probably is, because I thought I remembered seeing something where she had 6 against PFW, which was career high. So, and I tell you, in the fourth quarter, every possession felt like it was for the national championship at that stage, and Hannah was involved in so many ending situations that ended in a bad setting for Toledo on defense, and she usually was in the middle of it.
Yeah, she was jumping passing lanes, and she was all over the place.
Yeah, she was everywhere she was supposed to be. She's in, we have this thing called PBS, and Deanna and LA will be able to tell you what that means if you ask them later, or they better be able to anyway. But Hannah is the queen of that. Hannah, we tell our players all the time, if you want to know where you're supposed to be, watch Hannah, because she's almost 100% of the time in the right spot.
Speaking of her, she went over 100 career threes in the game against NIU and did it in a big way with 6 triples in that big road win for you guys against NIU last Saturday.
Yeah, she's putting together stacking some games, as you would call it, and it's really fun to see her doing that. It's really fun to see her being rewarded, because she's a hardworking kid, and we have a lot of them that are hard workers, but she's had to endure a lot. She's had a lot of physical setbacks, and last year she played through a lot of pain a year ago, and we had to really manage how we used her and how long we used her, and it wouldn't have surprised me if she decided not to come back for her 5th year, because it would have made a lot of sense. But she did, thankfully for us, and she's putting together a heck of a 5th year.
Big reason why you guys are 4-1 in MAC play has been that defense that we talked about, averaging just 50.4 points allowed in your first 5 MAC games. What's kind of been the key to that defensive recipe for you guys?
Well, it starts with Coach Shipman, Coach Applin. She heads up our defense, and she does a really good job. She invests a lot of time, invests in a lot of film, obviously, in preparation. And then just her delivery of the game plan to the team, she puts it in a very simple form that's easy to understand. And our players are really good at following it, and it's been a huge key for us. And coming in, we knew offense was going to be a struggle for us, and that if we were going to win games, that we were really going to have to be locked into that end of the court. And I think it's fair to say that we have been. And especially in last night's game, our at the beginning of the game or in our pregame stuff, we always say defense and offense. We have that category, and it said at the first line for defense, do whatever it takes, and on the last line for defense, we said do whatever it takes. And that's what this group is really good at. Like they can improvise on the fly, and it's usually a really good turnout. And especially on the defensive end, we tell them, look, if you have to guard 3 people in the same possession, figure out how to do it. And they've been really good at doing that.
It's also certainly helped to get a lot of your players back from injury. The last time you were on with Robin, you were talking about all the injuries, and you've gotten a lot of those players back, including the 2 that will be joining us a little later on tonight.
Yeah, they're classic examples of how to overcome physical ailments, and 2 very different situations with both of them. But it's obviously it's fun to see them win in that situation, winning mostly first and foremost with their injuries, because neither of them injuries have been easy to come back from, and it's fun to see them being rewarded right now. And Deanna, I talked to her a little bit about that today. Like she's in the really beginning process of her return, and the rhythm of the game is hard to find sometimes, and she's going to get there, and she knows that too. So she's just got to stay the course. And you know, LA was a little bit different. She's had a little more time to kind of gradually, a little more time, because her injury was longer, and she's just now starting to, I think, get into feeling good about herself and her body, and that she's going to be okay from everything that she's gone through to continue to play at a high level, and we're really benefiting.
One of the other players who got back was Allie Carlson, point guard position. 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists is what she's averaging so far since returning. And they said on the broadcast last night that she just makes things happen. And I don't know if there's a better way to describe the way she plays.
No, and I tell you what, her defense in the 4th quarter especially, like that kid was guarding the entire game, but in the 4th quarter, I almost feel like her and Hannah by themselves probably would have created havoc on Toledo's offense. They were just seemed to be everywhere, and it is really good to have Allie back. Like she's, between her and Marina, both splitting time between the point guard, like Allie's, in a perfect world, you know, Allie you want running your transition, and Marina you want running your half court, and haven't quite figured out how to get the defenses to allow us to do that. But those 2 combined at the point guard spot are giving us some incredible minutes. But Allie, again, coming back from a knee injury and a surgery from a year ago, has blown me away by how good she's come back in form.
Coming up, you got a couple of road games. You've already got a couple of road wins in the MAC. Those are kind of like gold in conference play. Any road wins you can get. You've got Eastern and NIU out of the way already. And you go to Kent State this weekend, a place where the men won for the first time in a long time back on Tuesday. But what do you think about the Golden Flashes as you've looked at them so far?
Yeah, major challenge for us. They're one of the better offenses in the league, and we're one of the better defenses, so that's going to be a clash of strengths. And crossed paths with DJ today, and I said, dude, I hope you left us some magic over there on that court, because, and I complained about this year, and I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying it, but Kent State hasn't had to come to Western Michigan now in 3 seasons. So we've played 3, this will be our 3rd road game in a row going to Kent State, and you know, it's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win at home. It's really hard to win on the road. So we know we're up against it, and I know this team will be ready for the challenge.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck on Saturday, and congrats on that 4-1 start in MAC play.
Appreciate that. Go Broncos.
We'll step aside and come back with more of the Bronco Coaches Show after this quick timeout.
Verdicts has burgers, not burgers. Burgers. All natural, honest to bigness, bona fide, aged steak, beef, burgers. Or chickpea. And Verdicts has beer, not beer. Beer. Whether it's winning the big game or winning at life, it all happens right here at Old Verdicts.
Hi, I'm Jim Vandenberg. If you've been driving around, you've noticed empty lots and no new cars. We understand how frustrating this can be. That's why we've done the legwork for you. We're getting in CPO shipments from coast to coast to bring you the best late model vehicles with certified warranties. Don't get taken advantage of with markups on new and used cars. We make sure you get the best value for your car buying dollar. Maple Hill Auto Group, for value like no other.
Welcome back to the Bronco Coaches Show. We're here at Old Burdicks at Wings West, where we'll be for the spring and winter as the Old Burdicks downtown location gets a little bit of a renovation. I'm joined by redshirt junior forward Deanna Richardson out of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Deanna, thanks for being here, and congrats on the 4-1 start to MAC play.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's been a great start to MAC play for the Broncos. Last night, a real grind, a 41-38 game against Toledo. Just how does it feel to grind out a win against a team that has been up at the top of the conference standings for so many years in a row, and a team that you guys have kind of struggled with over the years?
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels good to actually win against Toledo. Since I came here my freshman year, we would lose to them, and last season losing to them in the MAC tournament hurt. So it kind of felt good to get this win against them.
Yeah, last year they were the #1 seed, and you just had them on the ropes for a while in that quarterfinal game, but they just kind of eked it out at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely got some revenge last night.
Oh yeah.
So you've been working your way back from an injury, as Coach talked about, and just kind of wanted to see how you're feeling as you kind of you start to get your minutes up, in your first few games back from your injury.
I'm just taking it slow, taking it one day at a time, and trusting the process, and believing in myself, and believing in my coaches and the athletic trainers, and just hopefully get back on the court as soon as possible. Yep.
Absolutely, and when you're out of the lineup, I just imagine it's just you're just kind of sitting there itching, wishing you can be out there on the court because you want to contribute to your team and be out there with them.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like other ways I can contribute. I can give my feedback on what I see on the court to help my teammates and just encourage them for every step of the way.
Absolutely. So you've been with the program for 4 years now. What are some of your favorite memories, as a Bronco? You guys have had some cool non-conference road trips. You've been to the MAC tournament, like you said. You've been on an international trip. What comes to mind?
I would most definitely say the international trip. It was nice to be in Europe and go to Greece with my teammates and get to explore my teammates' culture and where they came from. So it was nice to have team bonding, also seeing different cultures as well.
Has you ever been to Europe before?
No, I haven't. That was my first time.
It's very interesting. I had the opportunity to go with the men's team to Spain last year. It was my first time as well, being out in Europe. It was awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah, even the food was very good too.
Yeah, it's different than what we're used to, but definitely great to try some new stuff for sure.
For sure.
So, I think last time you were on the show, you talked about basketball, you really started at a very young age. You know, you got into it pretty early. Were there any other sports that you played growing up at all?
I did track. I did high jump and long jump, but then as years went on, I'm like, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm sticking with basketball.
So you knew pretty early on that basketball was the one for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, taking a look at kind of who you might model your game after, whether it be an NBA player, a WNBA player, who did you kind of look up to?
I look up to Candace Parker and Maya Moore, and on the NBA side, Derrick Rose and Kyrie Irving. So those are the players that I looked up to when I was little a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. And when it came time to pick a school, what made Western Michigan the right choice for you?
Honestly, it felt like home. Even though I couldn't come on like an official visit due to COVID and stuff, I still did my research on them and how the team was, and it wasn't too far from home, so I just made that choice to commit to Western.
Being recruited during the COVID times, as we'll call them, how different was that? Or not being able to go see some of these places where you might be spending a big chunk of your life?
Oh yeah, it was very difficult. I had to hop on a Zoom call with them, meeting the coaches on the first time, virtually and stuff like that. But it was all right, because as I started to talk more to the coaches, it made it easier choice to commit to them.
You're a communications major, I believe, and so what kind of pushed you in that direction? What interested you about that particular major?
Honestly, to help me communicate better and not be so scared to talk to people, honestly.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job right now. Public speaking is a lot of people's fears, and you're doing it like a pro.
Thank you so much.
So the schooling is definitely paying off in that sense. Is there anything in particular that you might want to do with that, you know, when your Western Michigan career is over, or is it just something to?
I think it's just something to do. Like, I do want to start working on music, so I feel like that can tie into a communications major too. So it's just something I have to figure out for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on the 4-1 start to MAC play, and good luck with your continued recovery from injury. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you so much.
That's Deanna Richardson, redshirt junior forward from Bolingbrook, Illinois, and working her way back from an injury. And the Broncos are 4-1, and she'll be certainly a big part of that as we continue in MAC play throughout January, February, and March. We'll take a time out. When we come back, Lauren Audino, another Bronco upperclassman, will join us after this time out here on the Bronco Coaches Show from Old Burdocks at Wings West.
It all started with a war hero and wounded warrior. Sealy began on Portage Road in Kalamazoo in 1963. A lot has happened since then, and a lot has changed. But at Sealy, the more things changed, the more they stayed the same. Trust, customer service, and community. These are the qualities that made Sealy then and what Sealy represents today. Celebrating over 60 years of serving our community and customers with excellence.
Attention Bronco fans. Looking for a direct way to show your support? Meet Roy, the mobile app that lets you back your favorite college athletes. If knowing exactly where your money is going matters to you, now's your chance to make a difference. With Roy, you choose which athlete receives your support, helping keep your favorite players on the team. Download the Roy app today and join us in shaping the future of your athletic program. Roy is a proud partner of WMU Athletics and the Broncos Will Reign Collective.
Get a fresh view in Kalamazoo. Wander museums, catch a show, and see a classic or two. Unwind, open up, try something new. Bike around, make a splash, and explore nature's hue. Hit the trails, grab a bite, then relax with a brew. Be curious, get loud. There's so much to do. Find all this and more in Kalamazoo.
The Bronco Coaches Show here at Old Burdocks at Wings West as downtown gets a little bit of a renovation. Rob Lau in for Robin Hook this week. He's on the road with the Bronco hockey team there at North Dakota in the battle for first place this weekend in Grand Forks. And by the way, if you need a place to watch those games, they have NCHC.TV right here at Old Burdocks at Wings West. So come on out Friday and Saturday, check out the Broncos. We're talking women's basketball tonight. They're off to a 4-1 start in Mid-American Conference play. We're now joined by 6'2" senior center Lauren Audino. Lauren, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you're from Welland, Ontario, and I believe you said it's up near Niagara Falls?
Yes, that's correct. We're about like 40 minutes away.
And so I'm guessing that that's a place where you went pretty often growing up?
Yes, definitely. We didn't appreciate it as much as we should.
You take things for granted, when they're
Exactly.
local to you like that.
Yes.
The last night, real battle against Toledo. You're out there hustling for rebounds and trying to bother a lot of shots. You guys forced 22 turnovers. What does it feel when you're in a game like that, where it seems like there's kind of a lid on both baskets, but both teams are also playing really good defense?
Yeah, I think it really came down to our defensive game plan because the ball wasn't going in for us, but as long as we prevented them from scoring, then we ended up coming out on top of that. It was a very, very physical game for sure.
Yeah, and it seemed like for as physical as it was, there wasn't actually a lot of fouls called.
Yeah, I'm glad it went both ways though. If it was one-sided, that would be a little bit more difficult, but they kind of let us play both sides, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, only 7 free throw attempts for Toledo. It's kind of a testament to the refs keeping the whistles, you're not calling much.
Yeah.
So we talked about it a little bit earlier with Coach and Deanna a little bit, that there's been several players on the squad the last year or so that have dealt with injuries. You were one of those as well. You missed all of last season with an injury and sat out for the first couple weeks of this season with an injury. And just kind of how you're feeling now that you've been back for about 10 games or so and worked your way back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think I'm finally kind of getting my feet under myself. I'm able to trust my body more. It was kind of difficult at the start with the type of injury that I had, trying to be able to trust myself, but I got a lot of my strength back. I'm slowly gaining my confidence back, and my teammates, coaches, athletic training staff have all helped a lot as well.
How does it feel after a couple of games coming off the bench, getting back into that starting lineup and know that your hard work is really paying off, that you're kind of back to where you wanted to be before you got injured?
Yeah, for me, honestly, I feel like I can help my team in any other way. If it's starting, coming off the bench, I still know what I can provide for my team, so that's just kind of a little bonus on top. But just off the bench or in the starting lineup, I just try and help in any way I can.
Absolutely. You've been with the program for 5 years now, and same question I asked to Deanna, what are some of your favorite memories as a Bronco so far?
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've got a lot of great opportunities. The European trip was amazing, but even our little team bonding things that we do. We went to the military base in Fort Wayne, I think. That was a really fun team bonding experience. We did a Grace Adventures team bonding experience. All that stuff just brings us closer together.
Absolutely, and the better the team chemistry is, it seems like the better the team kind of clicks together on the court as well.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
So you're from Canada, as we mentioned. It seems to me, when I was growing up, there was a handful of Canadian basketball players. Steve Nash was one of the biggest names, but it seems like over the last really decade or so, that's really kind of exploded up there, and internationally as well. With overseas, you have several teammates from Europe. The 3 girls from Spain and then Artemis from Greece. But it seems like Canadian basketball's really taken off. They got players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best players in the NBA, and so many others through men's and women's basketball. Did you kind of feel that when you were growing up, that it was becoming more and more popular?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think too, it's kind of fun once I got to play in the States, like in college, because I'm getting to see people who I've played against or played with on other teams and us doing so well, and kind of can appreciate, and you have a hug before a game or after a game and talk and be like, have that bond just from being back from the same home. So.
Absolutely. Did you play any other sports other than basketball growing up?
I did a lot of sports. I did hockey, tennis, jiu-jitsu, a lot of stuff, yeah. I chose between tennis and basketball and ended up choosing basketball in the end.
When did you know that basketball was going to be your number one?
When I was 6'2" in grade 8.
Fair enough.
That seemed like the right choice.
Fair enough. Well, sometimes it feels like, just because you're tall, they say you should play basketball, but just because I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but if it's something you enjoy, then you should pursue it. But
yes,
sometimes you feel like you get pigeonholed.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy the sport as well, but it doesn't help. It doesn't. Being 6'2" definitely helps as well.
For sure. So you had an opportunity to play U16 for Team Canada. What was that international experience like?
That was amazing. I still remember it to this day. Going to Chile and playing against all the other countries, the U.S., who defeated us by like 50, but it's still a great experience. Representing your country is just something that you have to be there to experience it. It's amazing.
What was being from Canada, and what was your recruiting experience like, and what made you ultimately decide to come to Western Michigan?
It was very different because it was during the COVID times, obviously. Mm-hmm. Joining a Zoom call with the coaches. Coach Shane was on his boat. My dad loved that. Talked about boats and fishing and everything. But no, it was honestly just the connection I had with the coaches. I didn't see campus. I didn't meet anybody. I purely based it off my connection with the coaches and the location as well. So it ended up working out pretty well, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like you're enjoying your time here at Western Michigan. You stayed all 5 years, which is not necessarily a common thing anymore.
No, not anymore.
So you're a biomedical sciences major, which is definitely way over my head in terms of education. I wasn't really a science guy growing up, but what made you decide to choose that major?
I've always liked the medical field and always been very interested in it. So I think it was honestly just the best decision for me schooling-wise, because I always wanted to go into that field eventually.
So what, beyond Western Michigan, what do you want to do career-wise then?
I'm still kind of trying to figuring that out because I have a lot of courses that I've really enjoyed that I didn't think I would enjoy. So like working in a lab, initially I wanted to do PA school and become a physician's assistant, but lab work is kind of interesting me now after taking a microbiology class.
Well, I mean, that's the benefit of college is just because you have an idea going in doesn't mean that's what you have to stick with. You have options, you can try different things, take different classes, see what works best for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm finding myself in now.
Well, absolutely. Well, and don't put any pressure on yourself to decide immediately.
Yeah.
keep on experimenting and trying things out.
For sure.
Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the season. Congrats on the 4-1 start, and go beat the Golden Flashes on Saturday.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
That's Lauren Adino, senior from up in Canada. They're off to a 4-1 start in MAC play. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about the banner year that was 2024 for the Broncos with Elaine Russell here from the external operations side of things. We'll take a time out here and come back with Elaine here on the Bronco Coaches Show at Old Burdocks at Wings West.
How far do you have to go to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV?
Not too far.
How about a new Ford F-150?
Not too far.
How about for basic maintenance and service?
Not too far at all. With Dorrance Ford's mobile service, we'll come to you.
Nice.
Now's the time to buy because we're making room for the 2025 Fords and moving out the 24s. Come in now for the best selection. Dorrance Ford is proud to support Bronco Athletics. Shop Dorrance Ford.
Not too far for your next car.
Burdick's has burgers, not burgers. Burgers. All natural, honest to bigness, bona fide, aged steak, beef, burgers. Or chickpea. And Burdick's has beer, not beer. Beer. Whether it's winning the big game or winning at life, it all happens right here at Old Burdick's.
Attention Bronco fans. Looking for a direct way to show your support? Meet Roy, the mobile app that lets you back your favorite college athletes. If knowing exactly where your money is going matters to you, now's your chance to make a difference. With Roy, you choose which athlete receives your support, helping keep your favorite players on the team. Download the Roy app today and join us in shaping the future of your athletic program. Roy is a proud partner of WMU Athletics and the Broncos Will Reign Collective.
Welcome back to the Bronco Coaches Show, first one of 2025. We're at our new location, Thursdays at 6 here at the Old Burdocks at Wings West, joined now by Elaine Russell, Senior Associate AD for External Operations. Hi Elaine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Rob?
How am I doing so far on my first show?
You're great. It's like you're born to do this.
Well, I can't be Robin Hook, but I can at least try.
We all have to have aspirations in our life.
Yeah, and this was one of mine, so we're checking it off the bucket list.
There you go. Check, check.
Well, there was a lot of things checked off the bucket list in the year that was 2024 for the Broncos, a lot of championships, and it really goes back to the fall of 2023 when men's and women's soccer and volleyball all won championships that really just kind of carried into 2024.
Yeah, we catapulted for sure. Us internally, for external, we keep a document that's called 2023 Year of the Broncos, and then I'm like, okay, now it's 2024 Year of the Broncos. So it was super exciting year for 2024 for sure. 12 conference championships, 13 NCAA/postseason appearances. So our teams definitely got it done on the field, and then they obviously are student athletes, right? So they were going to classes, and I don't want to mess this up, so I'm going to look at my notes. We had the highest GPA on record in the spring with 3.43 GPA. Then we followed that up this fall, tied our highest fall GPA with a 3.38. So our student athletes are definitely student athletes.
and not only students and athletes, but also making big-time contributions in the community. I believe it was a 94% participation rate among student athletes with community service.
Yeah, over 6,000 hours in the year 2024, which was a 38% increase from 2023. So we thought 2023, our student athletes and our coaches and our teams were clicking all cylinders, and in 2024 they just said, let's up the game a little bit.
Well, not only that, we just continue to build on that success. You know, we had a couple more championships in the fall, and one of, I believe it was 3 schools in the nation to have our men's and women's soccer, football, volleyball, and cross-country teams all participate in the NCAA postseason.
Yeah, and do you know what the other 2 schools were?
I know Washington was one of them.
In North Carolina.
I think I've heard of both of those schools.
Yeah, right? So we were in pretty good company, I think.
Yeah, not too shabby for teams that are in the ACC and the Big Ten, and then the Broncos here in the MAC, showing that, hey, we can do some damage here too.
Yeah, we can compete. And if you look at those schools, majority of those schools in those conferences go. So like if you're soccer, you're probably getting 6 to 8 teams in those conferences, and we have to win to get in. And so kudos to our teams, our coaches, and our staff for believing in our mission and our goal and our objectives that we've set forth as a department, and they just keep getting better and better.
Raising the standard is really, and you know, as Dan likes to say, the climb is real.
The climb is real, for sure.
And you know, we have so much going on right now. Where do you want to start? We have a big men's basketball game this weekend. Should we start there?
Yeah, and so we had a fantastic fall, and what do we do? We're following it up with a fantastic winter. You mentioned once or twice, I think, that our hockey team is on the road at North Dakota. They're 4th in the country. So big matchup right there for them this weekend. And then men's basketball has a big game on Saturday. They host Buffalo. It's our Gold Rush, so they're breaking out their gold uniforms. So it'll be a lot of fun inside the arena. And then, I mean, it is January, right?
Still somehow January, yes,
So
despite all that's been going on the last
tennis
few weeks.
has already started, which technically is a spring sport.
True.
It's not a winter sport. And they're home this weekend. So both men and women open up their spring seasons this weekend.
Yep.
They both have matches on Friday and Sunday. And then gymnastics, who won a championship back in 2024, is looking to defend their MAC tournament title. And they opened up their season at home on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much going on. Adam from our office is the men's and women's tennis contact, and he just is basically going to be setting up shop all weekend at West Hills.
And he's gymnastics, so
that's true.
Yep,
he's got a busy.
Yep, he's got a busy weekend. So, if you're looking for stuff to do, obviously tennis will be at West Hills. They're not quite playing outside yet. That's free admission. Come out there and cheer them on and watch them. They're super exciting. We have a brand new head coach in Joel, and then obviously Dave doing Dave things, and Coach Maureen and what he does with the men's team. Men's basketball is home, and then gymnastics home on Sunday. So we got a full slate, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's a triple header tomorrow with tennis. Marquette for the men at 10 a.m., Marquette for the women at 2 p.m., and then the men wrap it up with Ferris at 6 p.m. Doubleheader for the women on Sunday. They're playing, I had it written down here. Where is it in my notes? They're playing 2 teams that they should beat.
They're playing teams on Sunday.
Yep. And then, as you mentioned, gymnastics on Sunday as well. And men's basketball, after that big win at Kent State, hadn't won there in almost 11 years, but scored a season-high 94 points against the MAC's best defense, no less.
Yeah, and we played really, really good defense. And so defensive rebounds, we played really well from start to finish. It was a really exciting game. And it was nice to see Kent made a little bit of run, right, to get back on them, and then they held out for the win and found a way to win at the end. Winning on the road is always difficult. Winning on the road in the MAC, and Kent, people don't lose at Kent. They were perennial in our conference for a reason, and I've been around this conference for a long time, and so that's a huge win for them, and hoping to carry the momentum. 2 home games, right? We play
That's
Saturday
right.
and next Tuesday. Hopefully the team will get on a little bit of roll here.
Absolutely. And Tuesday night should be a pretty exciting night, especially for the students. We've got Greek nights. We'll have a lot of Greek life out there, and then we'll be celebrating all the student athletes that had 3.0 or higher GPAs in the fall. So we'll have, I believe it's 300-ish student athletes that'll be out there for that.
Yep.
So that'll be a great one. And NIU coming to town. That's always a good battle with the Huskies. We took them to overtime last year and eventually pulled that one out. early on in the season at the time to get the Broncos to 4-0. So looking to keep the upper hand against the Huskies in that kind of rivalry of sorts on Tuesday night. And then the women's team, they're going to be on the road for a little while, but then they've got their first rivalry game next Saturday, Alumni Day against the Chips.
Yeah, it's good to Central Michigan. It's always good to beat a rival, and it's Alumni Day, but we're also something special. We're celebrating the 1985 MAC championship team as their 40th anniversary. One of the things we've set out to do is make sure that we're celebrating our alumni and celebrating those milestones and anniversaries. So right now I think we have 4 to 5 former alum coming back, or they are alumni coming back for that, and one of the coaches. So that'll be great to have them in Ray Fieldhouse to cheer on our team against the Chippewas.
Absolutely. And then, of course, hockey coming back to Lawson next weekend to take on Miami. Hopefully still in first place. They're tied for first right now with a big series coming up against North Dakota. But it was always great to get back at Lawson and get the students. They weren't back in full force for the Alaska Anchorage series, but they sure will be next weekend.
Yeah, I know they're excited and chomping at the bit to get back. We had a great turnout of students considering it was still on break. I would think we had about 300 on Friday and almost 400 students back on Saturday. So that just shows you the interest that they have in our program. There's nothing like watching a hockey game in Lawson, cheering from the Lawson Lunatics, right? And so they're the best student section in the college hockey for a reason, and I'm sure they are excited to get back there and cheer on the Broncos next Friday.
One more thing to mention, we've had our partnership with Rally House going, and they have opened up the new NIL store where you can get some individual gear now.
Yeah, that was another super exciting project that I just got to check off my bucket list today. We opened up Rally House, or partnered with Rally House back in the fall, and then now today we have about 140 student athletes that have individual branded gear with their name and their number on it. Each student athlete has about 15 to 18 items. I think it's closer to 18 items now, different colors, in our school colors and different designs, and so every purchase, the student athlete gets a proceed of that. So moms, dads, grandparents, families, friends, fellow students, fans, go out and purchase that gear and make sure we're giving back to our student athletes.
Absolutely. I've seen some of the posts go out on social media of the various players. I just happened to see, I think Owen Lobsinger was one of them, and there's a bunch of basketball players I've seen, and there's like you said, there's all kinds of student athletes from all across Western Michigan athletics, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, we had, like I said, 150 student athletes opt in, and at least one from every team, so all of our teams are represented.
So cool that they're able to benefit off of this new NIL.
Yeah, it's a new world that we're going to navigate. We've been navigating, we're going to continue to navigate, but the fact that student athletes can make some money off their name, image, likeness, I've always been for that, and I think this is a cool way to do it because you're still repping your school, you're repping your favorite student athlete or your favorite player, and wearing cool gear to the game.
Absolutely, and we hope to see some of that gear in the coming weeks at some of our events.
For sure, absolutely.
And especially the gold on Saturday.
Wear your gold. Go
Rush.
find your gold and bring your gold to the game, match our men's team, and let's go get a win.
Absolutely. Looking to make it back-to-back wins after that big win against Kent State. Let's get some momentum going.
Absolutely.
All right, anything else we need to cover?
No, I think that was it. You did great.
All right, thanks, Elaine. So that'll do it for the first Bronco Coaches Show of 2025. Robin Hook will be back with you next week, Thursday night at 6 here at Old Burdick's at Wings West. Thanks for tuning in, and go Broncos.